see here. The new rule change for serve and rally scoring. So I know rally scoring is in the works. There hasn't been a whole lot done yet. But it'd be interesting to see if it goes there. Volleyball has gone to rally scoring. I think for TV coverage, obviously, it's easier to guesstimate the time.
So are they looking at that for doubles and singles?
The length
Because I
of the
know
match.
we tried it a few years ago at the World Pickleball, but we did it just singles.
Yeah.
But they're thinking...
Pretty sure it's for all events, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just to kind of help with duration of matches, to kind of have a better guesstimate. And I mean, as we saw at WPC, it didn't affect the results. As we see with double limb and single limb.
1 and 2, Big players tend to step it up. Yep.
But something that is being done right now is that the serve change, for any change to take place, there are 3 bodies that oversee rule changes, and the process has 3 steps. The rule change proposed to the IFP for discussion and vote. Number 2, rule changes that survive are then presented to the USAPA Rules Committee for a vote. And then number 3, rule changes that survive are reviewed by the USPA Board of Directors, and a final vote is held. So essentially, it has to go through 3 different groups.
So they're trying to ban the spin serve. Is that correct, or is it just the chainsaw?
Yeah,
okay.
and so so the only thing that we see right now is that the serve rule has been passed by the IFP. So now it moves on to the rule changes that survive are then presented to the USAPA Pickleball Rules Committee for a vote. So now it's going to the USA Pickleball Rules Committee for a vote. That's what it sounds like. So, but it's past it's past the first hurdle. It's past the IFP. And I mean, to be honest, Leia and I talked about this in episode 18. But did you watch Susanna Barr's son? Did you watch that final game?
I read about it.
Did you watch it?
I didn't see. Was it moving? Just
I mean, literally, so Susanna Barr, she's from Boise.
Yeah.
So her son.
Porter.
Porter. Yep, Porter. Good kid. Played 4-5, 19 plus at TOC. Another late night match. They ended up going to a different indoor facility in Brigham City.
It was like
they didn't get done till midnight.
Yeah, midnight. Jeez.
I mean, we got done at 10:30, 11. They didn't get done till midnight. So, gain of 15, or no, it was either game 3 or gain of 15. He pretty sure he served out a whole game.
I think he served out a whole game. Yeah, that was the title.
Yeah, I mean, when the serve is that effective and there's no true bounce, and you're able to really score 5 or 6 or 7 points just off of one serve, and you have unforced errors, you have aces, you have like returners trying to hit a half volley and they're shanking balls all over. Like, nobody wants to watch that.
Right.
I mean, it's like watching Isner on grass.
No, you're right.
Right? I mean, nobody wants to watch Isner at Wimbledon just tee off on serves and then tee off on returns and see no points. It's just not fun to watch.
You're right. It's a tough question to answer. I mean, I taught when I taught camp in Maine. Johnson Cola was one of our assistants, and him and I were debating the whole weekend back and forth. And I didn't really know how I fit on it. I know that ping pong or table tennis at one point kind of banned all that extra junk with the spin, just because it became such a weapon. Now I think to some degree they were hiding what that spin looked like, and so you couldn't really be able to know which direction it was gonna break when the ball hit. But they felt like it hurt the integrity of the game, or was too big of a weapon to where now you have to toss with an open palm where it takes that away. And I know some people have made that argument. Others are saying, hey, listen, this is just the next evolution in the game. It's good for the game. People are going to have to learn how to deal with it.
Do you see Morgan's post?
Yep. I saw Morgan's
trying to hang on.
Yep. And then, I actually just got a message from Zane Navratil that looked like he sent to a lot of pros, just basically saying, hey, give your opinion on this. Your voice matters. So it's right on the cusp of, which way is it going to go? Yeah, it's a tough one to answer because in a way I like it because I think it makes the game in way more fun to watch. You know, when you can have serves that are not just, hey, getting the ball in, right. But at the same time, it does widen the gap a little bit with one of the things that we love the most about pickleball is the inclusivity of, you know, a pro can go out and play with, you know, a 4.5 who's 60 true. Years old, right. And they can hang to a certain degree. Right. You start having your serve break this way and that way, it has more of a demand on the returner being a better athlete, you know, having a higher knowledge of, you know, in that toss, which way is it going to break? So I honestly, I don't know how I feel about it totally. I think I'm probably leaning towards liking a certain level of innovation, but right. What's the rule going to be of when does it go too far? I've heard, you know, Ben say this. I've heard some others say you can't hide, you know, if you're hiding the toss or you're hiding which direction you're making that ball spin, that's too far. But if visually you're able to see it, then it's fine. It's not a bad argument, but yeah, I'm like you. I don't want to see someone have just this fancy serve that's breaking to an unpredictable location and then just serve out a game where you're not even able to get the return back. I think it discredits all the other skills that are so important to elevating your game to play at the highest levels of pickleball if the serve matters that much. So it's a tough question.
What's a realistic percentage of points that you should win off of your serve? Like at the pro level, what's a realistic picture that you would watch on TV and you could actually get plenty of value out of it? Is it like 10% of the points, 15% of the points?
I think under 20.
Okay, yeah,
under 20. Sure, I mean, if somebody's just not getting a return back more than, you know, 1 out of 5, I think maybe you're losing some of the other, you know, really enjoyable things to watch about the game. Right. Singles is a little different, right? You're going for more on the serve, going for more on the return. But if doubles, if people are consistently missing more than 20%, where they're just not even getting it back, or the other aspect is, you know, if your return in doubles is so weak that every time you're just facing a huge drive, then you're losing some of the patience in the game. So
it's an interesting
topic. I don't envy the people making the decision. I mean, there's a lot of information to factor in.
No, there is. It's not an easy one. And I like I mean, just like what Kyle mentioned, I like the innovative part. I just don't like the idea that it's, and I've said this a couple of times, that it's just not a true bounce. You just don't know where it's kicking as a returner. Like, you know, like.
And most of the people that hit the serves, they'll tell you they don't know if or to what degree it's going to break.
If they don't know, right?
They're not even sure. They're just like, well, I'm going to throw a bunch of gunk on it and hopefully something good happens. So
it's tough because like in tennis, you know where the serve's going, but they're beating you with pace. You know, pickle, it's different. They're not beating with pace. They're beating you by just junkiness and the RPMs and the spin on the serve. So it's just it's tough. Yeah, it's.
Well, and if you think about it,
I just don't like how it's just not a true bounce.
Well, and at the end of the day, we're using a plastic ball anyways. Those plastic balls at times can get a little lopsided to start with. Now you throw another factor.
It's true. It's true. I mean, there's already bad bounces.
It's already an issue. Does it enhance a potential issue already?
That's a good point for sure. There's already, you know, plenty of goofy bounces as it is. Now we're just increasing that category by having people add spin and then hit the.
So yeah, I'll admit I'm very much on the fence. I like a lot about it, but I do see how, if not kept in check to some degree, it could become such a huge weapon that it takes away from all these other skills that are a big part of pickleball.
Right. Or like what Morgan said, hey, it's only going to make better returners. Right.
Well, it forces the education to go.
I agree with that for sure. I agree with that.
We might have to study film. You know, you might have to watch somebody's toss. If if their wrist does this way and then the spin's it's going to break that way. If their paddle's in a different position, that's their second one where it breaks the other way. So you might have to really study your opponents to have a read on the serve, which is good for a professional sport, I think. So it's a tough one.
That is true. It is true.